Uh, so it's a new experience to find myself here. Usually I'm on the over there or over there. Um, so so one thing I've been thinking about recently, mostly what I've been because this is my had a number of talks in a brief period of time, having not given many before, and yeah, so wondering what's helpful, especially for not to draw too strong a line, but you know, lay people generally have a lot more responsibilities, duties, relationships, uh, yeah, the whole slew of it. Might not live in conducive places for practice. So, so there's this teaching that Buddha gives. It basically goes that what he's teaching is develop these thoughts and don't develop those thoughts. Attend to these things, don't attend to those things. And give up these things and abide in the word is attainment of those things. So that's his teaching in a nutshell. So right there, which for me is great because I don't know about any of you, but sometimes I get a little lost. It's like, yeah, so which one do I do now? Like, do I do metta or do I do in the background or should I concentrate on Brahmaviharas or my sila or this or that? And where do they link up and how are they going in the same direction? So I really appreciated that because one, because of the Buddha was saying it, he was so pithy that it's like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure he's probably given it exactly what you needed right there. This is what he wanted to communicate. It's kind of three areas, I'd say. And then there's the kind of within that area, what he's encouraging. And what he's kind of, yeah, this is really good to do. Try that. Don't do that. Or try and let that go. Try and minimize that. So that's what's interesting too is I always try and pay a little bit of attention to the order which the Buddha says something. So first it's thoughts, and then what you kind of neat word attend to. So this could be paying attention or even attending to something. What am I attending to? Like as a monastic, we have attendant monks, upatak. They attend to a senior monk. So I wonder if it could both be you're attending to a task or attending to something. Meditation, some kind of task, meditation, work, speaking, whatever you're doing. We have thinking, we have attending, and we have giving up this and abiding in the attainment of that. So we're giving up, I'm imagining that's, hopefully not imagining, but based on what I know about the suttas, that's likely in terms of you're giving up, we've already taken care of thoughts and what you're tending to, so kind of pleasures of the senses, fixation on them, kind of making them the thing that one pursues as the highest, and giving up unwholesome habits, perhaps. But I think probably mostly because yet unwholesome habits are already kind of maybe taken care of by the first two. You're giving up sensual pleasure. Sorry, and I'll just rephrase, actually contradict what I just said. I think also giving up is referring to the hindrances. So which are habits. So yeah, I think that would also be the hindrances. And the flip side of that is what you develop is states of mind that aren't, aren't being pulled on by the hindrances. And so, okay, it's like, so I've got thinking, I've got what I'm doing, and I've got the mind, and how that's being developed, and which mental habits are being cultivated, and even beyond habits, like states, like to give it a little more umph. A habit is good when we use that word, in a, this is a good habit I have, but I think just to point out, like when you're meditating, attainment is a clunky word, and because we're not actually getting anything, but to really kind of lift up those things we're developing in meditation, those positive, wholesome, enjoyable states. Those are something that the Buddha really praised. He was not interesting, because he would say, like, okay, you can. That's a kind of pleasure that you can go for. Go for it. It's not the kind of pleasure that that is so ephemeral and involves so many things that make it tricky. Sense pleasures. So I don't know, but I like those. I like maps. I like having, like, okay, this is kind of what I have to work with. All right, I can do that. So that's kind of this map, 3 parts. And those, of course, lead to the various stages of freedom that the Buddha is really encouraging us to go for. So maybe we can try and apply this. So I'll try to apply this to my mind and just our contemporary minds and our lives. So because it's interesting, the thinking one, that one, just right off the bat is, if one was, if someone was curious if you're in a cult and you said, oh yeah, they tell us to think this way and not to think that way, oh yeah, you're in a cult, So we have to take these teachings with a little bit of we have to figure out what they're actually pointing to, right? This is not that, hopefully not that kind of thinking. So what kind of thinking is that? So thinking in ways that would lead to wholesome mental states and not lead to unwholesome mental states. I think that would also include perspectives, right, about the world or oneself. All right, well, so I'm involved in this thing we're building at the monastery. You've never heard about, I'm sure. And so there's thinking that has to be done. And just like anyone would have a job or various duties you have to tend to in the world, thinking has to be done. Things you're trying to accomplish, things you're hopefully that don't come, you're trying to avoid. So there's definitely thinking involved there. And one part that I would think is important is so I have to watch, for example, for you have to kind of watch your thinking. So, okay, oh, I don't, something comes up. Oh, this isn't going in the right way. Oh, why did this person do that, they always do that, and it's like, it's so one-sided, and it's actually caught by hindrance, some kind of aversion or fear generally. So it takes obviously these all are helped by various factors like mindfulness that, oh, okay, that kind of thinking is not helpful. That's, let me bring it back to, okay, I've noticed this thing. Yeah, okay, it could be off, but I've noticed stuff like this before, and what happened the last time? Oh yeah, well actually that was right. That was right. Okay, that time it was off. You know, okay, so it might be off, may not. Maybe this is perfect. So you can see that, like, already you're kind of pulled back from just getting aversion kind of pushing your button and forcing you almost to go in a certain direction. It's like, oh, okay, so right. And is this the right time to address it? Maybe it is. Or okay, maybe, and I should probably wait till tomorrow, right? Nothing major is gonna happen till tomorrow. So I'm just gonna, and I might want to think about this a bit. Let me reflect, right? So much better thinking leads to much, and why is it better thinking? Better thinking? Well, just because of the mere fact that it leads to better results, to things that are useful and wholesome, and that's one thing that I thought the Buddha was so it kind of someone I think a monk came and asked him, what is wisdom? And he said, just so simply, wisdom, I'm going to paraphrase it slightly, but wisdom is that which leads to beneficial results for both you and other people. It's like, this isn't like, wisdom is a mind state that is conditioned by these factors, and always it's, or like the atoms are made up this way, and reality, it's like, is it subjective, objective? It's like, it kind of doesn't matter, and yet we all know it makes sense. It's like wisdom is what leads to what's beneficial for oneself, other people. So taking that to thinking, because obviously we're shooting for wise thinking, with thinking this, you know, that's what the kind of thing Buddha is hoping for, is here encouraging us, is that the thinking is leading to positive results. So just doing like that little thing in my head, it's like, oh, already I've got myself out of a really kind of yucky mind state of, oh, it's all wrong, I don't like this, too. Oh, okay, I'm not could be, but you know, these guys are pros. You know, we've kind of been here before, and then you kind of, and then it's kind of neat too, because then when, let's say, if I approach whomever about it, or email or call whomever, I'm coming from a place of balance, kindness, friendly, and that, you know, they want to have me to have the best thing for the purpose, right? That's what they want. So we're on the same team. So it's coming from, yeah, we're on the same team, and it also puts one in the correct mind frame of like, okay, what's my role here? I'm not a professional, certainly not at the levels they are, but you know, what's my role? And so, well, there's something, I know what I'm shooting for. I don't know, but I'm not, so I don't know the technical aspects. So it's kind of, so I'll count on them to know that, and I can communicate them in terms of how we want to, what the end goal is, and we can work together to get there. So all that's kind of situational, but the point is that wise thinking has, it has to do with how your emotions are, and it's a habit we develop. We kind of get better at it. Or, yeah, so it's something we actually develop. And of course, we want to try and develop it in areas that are in our lives right now, that things we have to deal with right now. So you can notice in your own mind, maybe you can reflect on what habits of thinking have have been beneficial and which ones have not. Or you can look at other people. Well, how are they thinking about this, and is that leading into a good place? That would go off well. So yeah, so you've got the thinking. So thinking in ways that are going to benefit yourself and others is a good overarching theme for that one. And then another place this is important is when you're meditating, actually, in terms of when to think and when to go, okay. I don't need to do this anymore. I've done enough of that. So that's a really good skill that has to be developed. Is I don't know about it's person dependent, but I think I don't know what to call it, the modern world, there's a lot more thinking going on than maybe previously had been done by the general populace. And I don't mean like smart thinking. I just mean thoughts about this and that and this and that and this information, processing it. So so when you're meditating, it's like, ooh, I should be this way. Okay, remember to stay relaxed, be open, and okay, but what does that feel like? Yeah, how's that supposed to be? Yeah, okay, do it that way. It's blah, 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 blah. And you just kind of 45 minutes later, you're kind of, well, it was a nice meditation, kind of, but I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know where was I? Kind of. I was there, yeah. And I got peaceful. How did that happen? I don't know. I mean, and that's still great. I mean, maybe I had a good meditation, but it's probably, in my experience, there's been a good amount of thinking going on there that just kind of, it's a little kind of distracting. So one can be somewhat intentional in meditation about, okay, got my plan. I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm just going to do that. Okay, yeah, okay, that's an interesting thought, but let's just do that. Good. Okay, with the breath in this way, we're just going to keep doing that. Keep doing that. And then you can actually learn something about the thing you were hoping to work with. Because if it's too scattered, it's just my experience. There's not much learning that happens in the end. But if there's some clear plan, it's intentional, then you can actually you can relax into it. You can give it an effort, and then you can learn from that. And every once in a while, some thinking can come up, and that can be very helpful. Okay, I've been doing this for 10 minutes, and I'm really tight. Okay, why don't I try being more open? Drop that in, and work with that, right? Instead of, oh, why am I tight? Oh, it's because I didn't. Oh, it's too tight. I was thinking too much. So thinking, it's like both the substance of thinking and when thinking is worth doing and how much. So thinking is obviously a powerful thing. And I don't think it's an accident that it's the first thing the Buddha lists here. It's very connected with our perspective on things in terms of like right view. Okay, so I think we've got thinking. Next is attending to this and not attending to that. So that, like in the context of a lay life, that's definitely something that is so important, right? What do I need to tend to? Like, do I need a job or do I not need a job? Do I need money in the bank or not? Already you've got some very wise attending that's happening here. Just the basic stuff. But beyond that, even just like you get home from, let's say you get back from work and I got to do the bills. I got to make dinner. Got to do the bills, and want to know what's on the news. So let me watch the news and then do the bills and then eat dinner. And I just got back from work. It's been a stressful day. Just get out of the car. So it's kind of knowing when is the right time to attend to what. It's like, okay, well, oh, and I'm tired. Maybe I should ask that. You're kind of weary from the day's work. So maybe you have some nice ways of kind of, okay, you can uh, bring up energy and feel clear and centered. It's like, okay, that might be a sensible way to do things. But let's say you're tired and it's been a tough day and you just got during an hour to traffic. It's like maybe the best thing isn't to just jump on the news and see everything that's all the bad news and then work on your bills before you've eaten, right? It's like, so attending has to do with how and when and what you attend to. So it could be like, this is pretty common. It's like, well, I've worked, I did a good job. The bills aren't due to the end of the month, so I'm going to do that on Saturday, at some time. Then I can have a little bit of a break and I can meditate today, so that I reestablish myself and I can go back to work tomorrow in a good frame of mind. So I think we all do this stuff, but just to like point out, I think that's what this is kind of the idea of what one is attending to with tasks. And it's also very mind connected, right? Like, what are you paying attention to? That's what a lot of this is. What you pay attention to the news? Are you paying attention to your mind? Right? So this one seems really, really interesting, or I wonder too if you could translate it as pay attention to. What am I paying attention to? So you can drive a lot of these to absurdity, like should I go watch the ants in the backyard have a war and get really caught up about how that ant feels? Get it, like, oh my gosh, the ants, they're fighting, Maybe that's not, I mean, that might be fun for a bit. But if it's going to make you so upset because the ants are fighting, maybe that's not the right object to attend to. Or I think the news, like it's so powerful just to see the news. So knowing the time and it's not even so much the place anymore because you can do it anywhere, but the time and your mental state. What mental state are you going in there with? Because if you're already kind of grouchy and man, then let's see what's on. The world's so bad too. When you look at the news, and every story is, most of them are not pick me ups. Even I can't help it. This is a funny one, but even the Weather Channel, because as a monk, I check. We do like a decent amount of work in the mornings, and we live outside a lot. So you check the Weather Channel, and it's like, yeah, the smoke, yeah. And I just couldn't help but kind of chuckle a bit to myself. So there was one headline that said, "Apocalyptic skies over New York City," right? And then a few days later, and it's got this terrible picture, right? And every other headline's about the smoke. And then like 2 days later, it's smoke disappears and everyone's relieved. Like, what a game, they kind of, yeah, well, the smoke was going to disappear the whole time. Like, I would assume, but like this idea that they've kind of apocalyptic skies, and then, oh, now it's over and it's fine. Now you can forget about that and we'll rile you up with something new. Tornado in Arkansas, which is interesting, because not to pick on Arkansas or tornadoes, but I'm pretty sure there have been lots of tornadoes. Well, not to comment on, I'm not going there in any way, but just like if we had paid attention to every bad thing in the world, we could have a list of forever long. The news would never end. but vice versa, if we paid attention to every good thing in the world, it'd be the same thing. It's just what grabs your attention and what people get really caught up in these things. So that one seems a perfect example of attending, is the news. What do you tend to? And so also in your own life, what relationships are you tending to, let's say, paying attention to? Yeah, attending to. I can't help but think of this thing where monks, like we attend on a senior monk, attendant. It's really, really nice thing. So I think that too, in the context of like relationships, yeah, what maybe some relationships are worth attending to. I couldn't help but think, but like teacher and student, this is a relationship we've all had. That's an important relationship. Family, of course, friends, community, all that stuff. So again, the level of wisdom in terms of, yeah, taking some time to reflect, yeah, it's not like which people are important, it's like which relationships need attending to, and how should I attend to them? What kind of energy to bring to them, or effort? So yeah, that's the attending. So we've got thinking, and what am I attending to, paying attention to? What hobbies are you attending to? They can be actually very wholesome and skillful, and can help other people. So that can be worth attending to. Or how we attend to our jobs, of course. Yeah, that's a big one. What we pay attention to in our work, livelihood. Yeah, because that's how we pay attention. In this role I have, there's a lot of learning about, yeah, what's worth paying attention to, like, and how often does one need to think about certain things? There's a lot of skill in that. Even just came in my head is like using a calendar. That can be really skillful in terms of how you attend, because you put it in there and then you get to go bye-bye, and you get to forget. Because otherwise you have to try and hold all this stuff, and it's too much. And of course, then we also have, I think you can kind of see those, hopefully, in that area we're talking about, there's like, we're tending to our speech, kind of the 5 precepts, we're tending to them, our dana, sila, learning, yeah, all that. So that's worth attending to. And meditation practice, yeah, is how we attending that. So, and that can be quite important in terms of both of them, if we translate it either way, paying attention or attending to it. So how we do that. So yeah, with meditation, I mean, the kind of punchline is, are we attending to it at all, right? Are we meditating? Even in a monastic environment, one can get busy. And, definitely need to bring up those recollections of, oh, I really probably I should sit some more. I should really make an effort for this, or walk more. Yeah, make it a focus. And just like this, just having these once a month is amazing. So in terms of what we're paying attention to, attending to, because really, you could be doing up to 1 million other things right now. You could watch a movie or go to Canada's Wonderland, or um, I mean, anything, right? Like you could have toy. I don't know if anyone does, so I'm not. You could have like a hobby coin collection, or you could get really good at something. Yeah, especially in today's world, right? You could attend to so many things. YouTube is an endless world of, you can give your attention to things. So, so this is a great, because we've chosen to attend to this kind of mental training of meditating. And so that is very important too. So I might miss a few things, but I think we all get the idea. And then the last one seems to be, yeah, aimed at meditation, or at least the kind of broad strokes of what are you holding in your, what are you holding on to, and where do you spend your time abiding? And so the first one is giving up this and abiding in attainment of that. So we just kind of pare it down to those most little. What are we? If we're giving, we can only give stuff up that we have. So we're giving things up, and we're abiding in something. So really good questions to ask. What am I attached to that's not useful? And where do I abide? Where do I spend my mental time? That's kind of how I take it. So it struck me. Where do I spend my mental time? So it's not even so much the thought part. It's like, what does it feel like in here? What does that feel like? So, and it's also a neat dichotomy, because the giving up one seems to have to do with more like attachments and relinquishing attachments, both material possessions, addictions, even self-views, identities, that, because then the flip side of that is the abiding in is, I think we all know, as you meditate, like, you can't really you don't get anything. You don't get it. Like, if only, right? Like I got a stable state of samadhi that's going to last forever. It's right here. This is great. I'm never going to be stressed out ever again, because here it is. So it seems to have more to do with, like, to abide somewhere, there has to be a sense of comfort, at ease in the place, and you might have to leave, I guess. It's not yours. You can abide somewhere. So it's important where we're abiding. Where do we spend our time? So, yeah, so that second one seems to be, yeah, that's, I think a nice way to take it is, what mental states do I abide in? I also appreciate it because yeah, like, there's this funny dichotomy. It's like understandings and mental states seem to be so close, right? Like when let's say Lungpo encourages us to, I think you've heard the teaching, abide in the background, stay in the background. It's both understanding about how to see things, you kind of, right, I'm doing that, I'm going to be like that. Then there's a feeling tone to it, right? You're trying to abide with an understanding, with a perspective, let's put it that way. I can stay with this perspective. I'm going to abide like this. So, so that's, yeah, it seems to be that dichotomy. Like when you're with the hindrances, let's say the first ones, the first spot, and that's what I think we might have to give up. Abandon, sometimes that strong word is used in the translations, but giving up these hindrances that they really are, it's kind of, they are they're like I don't know what you call it, the mental pranksters that just kind of ruin everything. They're gonna just cause havoc wherever they go. That's like their job, and they just love it. This is the best. Rascals, yeah, but not cute ones. These are like not little rascals. These are, yeah, they're so amazing. They're brilliant. They're the most. You really have to admire them at how good they are at. They just, like like if you're meditating, it's like, oh, what happened to that beautiful mental state? If I could just get it back. Like that is, so there can be remorse in there. This can be restlessness and remorse. This can be, yeah, I guess aversion. Stupid. And it tricks you into thinking that the way to get it back is through what it's telling you. Like, yeah, if I can just do more of this hating where I'm at, this is going to work. No, 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 no. It's like that was probably the thing because maybe something changed and then the mind reacted. And all of a sudden it's totally poof, it's gone. And so it's kind of, we have to learn how to abandon these things from the mind, kind of get out of their thrall. So they seem to be, because for me to abide in a peaceful, any like in a Brahma Vihara or abide in kind of being in the background more, abiding anywhere, it's these hindrances that kind of things that generally kind of knock you out or prevent you from kind of approaching that place. So, and that takes, and I think it's interesting that you can see that's not exactly just a thinking game because you have to be, I feel it's more a feeling game. You know the hindrances because of often the way they make you feel, right? Like sometimes you get it from the thoughts, and those can be good clues. But my experience, the thought might clue you in, but you confirm it when you know, right, this is what it feels like, kamatana, like this is what wanting something pleasant, some sensual pleasure is like. This is what doubt is like. This is what sloth and torpor is like. It feels like this. It feels like this. There'll be associated thoughts, but you really need that. You need to feel it, and that's kind of where the meditation comes in to help give you the clarity to kind of really see these hindrances. So oh dear, and I think I've talked myself out of the Q&A and into the walking meditation period. That's, well, what's funny is that here I was thinking, oh boy, I haven't gone far. I haven't talked very long, and it's going to be a long question and answer period. Well, nothing's set in stone, so I hope some of that was helpful. definitely a wonderful teaching to reflect on.